Kako, and welcome to Miss Happy Mess, where our lives might feel like they're falling apart sometimes, but you know what? We're making it through with a smile together. I'm Kimberly Rose, and today I am chatting with Stephen Yim, who is the senior partner of Yim and Yim Puku, a Honolulu-based estate planning law firm in Honolulu. So welcome.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
Yeah, of course. Okay, Stephen, I wanted to chat with you because as I'm getting older, I'm finding myself being sort of asked to think about my family's legacy. And I mean, my mom and stepdad, they cannot even agree if they want to be buried or cremated. And suddenly I'm finding myself wanting to honor the older generation's legacy while trying to protect the younger generation. Mm-hmm. And I need help. Mm-hmm. It's really tough. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's be honest. Even when the person who's passed away puts everything down on paper, mm-hmm. there seems to still be fighting. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to figure out why. And I'm so interested in talking to you because really you talk about estate planning from a relationship point of view rather than just the documents. Mm-hmm. So please help me.
Do my best.
Okay, good. Okay, good. I think we should start with what is estate planning? And is it just for rich people?
Yeah, great. Both great questions. And you started off by saying we put everything together. Some people write everything down and we look at estate planning as a bunch of documents.
Yeah.
Even lawyers. I talk to estate planning lawyers. They say, Steve, I write documents for our clients and we put it in a package and we give it to them and everything's done.
Yeah.
So that's our first mistake, is that as attorneys, we present estate planning as a set of documents. Yeah. Documents don't do anything. They don't reveal meaning. What do you mean? Mm-hmm. They don't resolve conflict. People do. Mm-hmm. So I realized we shifted from our perspective from thinking estate planning as a transactional set of documents to more directives. What are we really doing? We're asking someone to step into our shoes to speak for us on our behalf in our best interest according to our wishes, what we want to happen during really tough times.
And when you say directives, what does that mean?
Good question. Our paralegal, Christina, always reminds me, you can't just throw out these terms and expect people to understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So when we shift from a static piece of paper that we think is going to do something for us, which it really doesn't do it in and of itself, to a directive, we're really giving instruction to people. We want to appoint the appropriate person to step into our shoes to make decisions that we would make if we were able to. So directives meaning giving direction to somebody as to what we would want them to say and what we would do if we were able to speak.
Got it. So a directive is kind of like somebody is going to take over for you if, God forbid, you've passed away or you're incapacitated or you're sick, any of those, right? You're saying you're the person who's going to speak for me and you're going to do the things and carry out the wishes that I'm writing down right now.
Exactly.
But then how do you choose the right person? Because that seems like a lot of responsibility. Yeah. And what if you choose somebody that is, maybe not even, what if they just gave birth and they can't physically do it at that time? Or maybe they have a different emotional state from when you ask them. How do you choose the right person? That's a lot of pressure.
So now we shifted from it's a static document to directives where we're really looking to appoint someone to step into our shoes to speak on our behalf, our wishes. That is the key question. Who is the most suitable person to make decisions for us? And early on, when people would come in to do estate planning, they would say, well, I'm going to make a trust, which has a definition of its own. It's really a place to say who gets what and when. A trust it holds assets and it directs who receives the benefit of it. And you have to appoint someone to manage that, the trust assets. And people would come in and say, well, if I'm not able to make decisions, why don't we appoint my oldest child? Why don't we appoint the child who's living closest to me? Why don't we appoint the child who has the most sophistication in financial planning? And I realized those are not necessarily the right answers in and of questions in and of themselves to ask.
Okay. Well, so, I mean, because those are practical.
Yeah,
Like
that
the
you
person
would
who's
think.
closest to me, the person who's, let's be honest, the smartest.
That's what you would think. And we would write that down and we'd say, okay, so what's happening now is we have the most wealth transfer in the history of the world.
Oh.
So I'm a different generation than you, but from
You don't know that.
my parents'
Do we know that?
generation
No.
to us, 7 trillion worldwide transferred hands. Right now, $80 trillion are transferring hands worldwide. So we're able to see what's happening with families, and it's really a mess.
Wait, say that again. I don't think my little tiny brain computed
So
that.
it's hard to imagine because we can't think in trillions of dollars.
Yeah.
But the generation before our parents to me,
Okay.
7 trillion transferred hands. And it's hard to imagine what is 7 trillion. Maybe the question is not how smart you are, how close do you live? Are you the oldest child? And we used to do that.
Yeah.
And we're watching in real time what happens with families. Recent statistic is there's been an increase in trust litigation among siblings of about 32%.
And that means that a sibling is the person who's been appointed, and then the other siblings don't agree. So then they start going into litigation.
Possibly. And so we can't just simply appoint the oldest or the one who's the most sophisticated financial planner.
Yeah.
So the most sophisticated meaning the one who knows about financial planning. They might
Right.
be a financial planner or they might be a real estate attorney.
Got it.
And so we started looking at, well, if we know that it's not necessarily the smartest person or the one who's the oldest sibling, because it's all relational.
Right.
And fairness comes up, and fairness is subjective.
Yes.
And so there are two key points in receiving a distribution that children need to know. They need to know what standard of distribution you're making. Are you making an equal distribution? Meaning if you have 2 children, are they receiving 50-50?
Okay.
And the second question that they need to know is that the process of distributing, the process of
mean?
receiving, so when someone passes away, the process of going through all of the legal filings and honoring the trust, is that process fair? And if we think about this, if we have 4 children and 1 child is appointed as trustee, and now that's not fair. Why?
Wait, sorry. Yeah. So wait, just explain to me more about the process. Are you saying because if one child is appointed trustee, they get to control how it's distributed or the timeline of distribution? Is that what you're saying?
Possibly. I'll give you a real life example.
Yeah.
If the trust says there's 1 house in the trust and the house, there's 4 children, and the trust directs the children or the trustee to offer the property for sale to each of the children. So they each get an opportunity to buy the house at fair market value based on the appraisal.
Okay.
1 child's appointed as trustee. They go out and get an appraisal. They get an appraisal from their friend.
Oh.
And so you can see how that could start that's not fair or the mistrust among siblings.
I see.
And if we just keep dripping mistrust, and these sibling relationships, the challenges don't start when parents pass away. They start when we're little.
So we're talking about directives, like who you're choosing. And then we're talking about how a lot of siblings are fighting if one person's a trustee. So how do you choose? And should it not be one of your children?
That's a great question. So whether it's your child or not, we always leave it up to the client to make the final decision. And if you've ever been to the eye doctor, they hold up the lens and they ask you, "Is this clear?" And the first, "This looks pretty clear," and then they flip the lens. You ever had that
Yeah, yeah.
experience? And they say, which is more clear?
And then I get a lot of pressure because I can't tell. And then I'm like,
sometimes
I'm
you can't
answering the
tell.
wrong one.
Yeah, you're answering the wrong one, but you know which one's clear. That's our job, is to hold up
Okay.
options so that you can make the best decision for yourself. But we can't just simply write down your first choice. And it's not necessarily the smartest or the oldest or the one closest to you. And so we've come up with 7 questions that we ask our clients, if you don't mind.
Yeah, yeah.
The first is, do you trust this person? Do you trust this person is that they're going to act in your best interest according to your wishes,
Okay.
to follow through with what you want to have done?
Okay.
The second question is this person capable of doing the work? Meaning, do they have skills that they could? Are they an accountant? Do they have some skills? And the most important is, do they know when to go get help?
Oh, wow.
So they don't try to do the accounting and the lawyering.
Wow. I want to know, and I know you have 4 more,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm going to say you should go to our Substack and get the whole list.
Okay, I got you.
But I want to know what's the worst case you've
Okay.
seen with siblings.
So that one of the questions is, are they available? Are they available to do the work?
Mm-hmm.
And able and available. Those are 2 key questions. So we had a client who, very smart, very capable, one of the siblings appointed as trustee. And when the parents passed away, the trust said, you have to sell the property and distribute the proceeds equally between you and your 2 siblings.
Okay.
And when she came in to the meeting, she was smart. She loved her siblings. She could do everything.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, Steve, and the brother was sitting there, and he was a bit uncomfortable, you could tell. And she said, Steve, I can't do it. I said, you can't do what the trust says? No, Steve, I can't sell the property and distribute it. I said, well, tell me about that. And she said, well, I'm grieving. And I learned there's 2 types of grieving. There's instrumental grieving, the type of person who grieves by getting to things, doing things. There's intuitive grieving, where people need to stop doing things and go through the emotion of grieving.
Okay.
Well, she said, I grew up in this home, and I took care of my parent until my parent passed away, and I just can't do it. I can't sell the home.
Because she was emotionally attached to the home?
Attached to the home, and she needed to grieve. She needed to go through the grieving process.
Was she still living in the home?
She was still in the home. And the brother was, you could tell he was very uncomfortable. And he expressed during the meeting that he really needed the proceeds because he had already planned to do other things. And he couldn't do that unless she got the home sold.
Was she also not sure where she was going to go once the home was sold?
She knew. She owned a condo, but she said,
okay.
I can't go to my condo. I need to stay in this home because these were all my memories were here.
And is there a certain amount of time that she has to grieve and then she needs to sell the house?
Good
or is
point.
it?
See, so we think that grieving has a time.
Oh.
So
not
America,
to be cold.
yeah, in America, our culture, our capitalistic culture says you have 3 days to grieve to get back to work.
How long did she need to grieve?
She said, Steve, I need 3 years to grieve.
Wow.
She was the trustee. So there's an inside and outside job to estate planning.
Wait, could she do that as a trustee and say, like,
so
I'm just not going to list it for 3 years? That's my prerogative as a trustee?
That's the whole problem, is writing an estate plan takes the rest of the world out of the picture. So when you write an estate plan, you're saying the only people who are involved in this are the people that I write in this. So it's really important to pick the appropriate person to act as trustee, because there's no oversight. You've taken it out of the legal realm. So it's now an inside job, meaning that the lawyers and court systems are taken out by creating a trust. The inside job is, okay, now we get to work. And that's where lawyers fall short, because we think when we write the documents, good job, we're done, good luck, boy, I hope all this works out for you. And that's when we need to get to work, which all hinges on encouraging crucial, difficult conversations.
Yeah. I get that, because so when my tutu passed away, it's a long story and I won't go into the whole thing, but she had to do multiple planning. She did all of her estate planning. She laid it all out and she said what she wanted. However, the siblings were not all told what was going to happen. And so then, like you said, there was mistrust and there was fighting. It didn't end in a loss of assets, thankfully, but it definitely could have. And it's like, I think my tutu thought when she wrote her trust and she did the directives that it was all going to be done.
That's the first mistake and it's on us as professionals to change that narrative.
So do you say like, should my tutu have gotten everybody together and said like, this is what I'd like to happen? Like, do we need to have family meetings around this where everybody's sitting down and we talk about it?
Absolutely. Across the board, legal treatises, sociology, psychology, they're all pointing to have the conversation and have the conversation with everybody in the room and have the conversation not just once.
Multiple times.
Multiple times.
Because you demystify what the actual intent is.
We're all trying to, the role of a trustee, the role of this directive, the person you appoint, their only role is to find your intention and follow that. And the intention is not clearly written in a legal document.
Right.
It has to come from other places.
Yeah, but it's so uncomfortable to talk about death. It's also really uncomfortable to talk about money.
Two big things that we don't talk about.
Yeah. And do you have any advice of how to bridge that? Because, I mean, we're talking about kind of two taboo subjects. And I find that, you know, the person who starts to try to talk about money or starts to talk about, oh, what do you want to do? They can maybe be mislabeled as being like a money grabber. You know what I mean?
There's that misperception because if you walk in and you encourage it, that's where the mistrust could start.
Right. So how do you tell people to start the conversation?
I can tell you from our perspective, it's hard for a family member to encourage the conversation because there might be a misunderstanding. So for me, what we would suggest is families we're counselors of law. We're supposed to we're not therapists. We don't solve big problems. Our job is to guide people because we already know we're facing money, mortality, incapacity, all these things and relationships which are messy. And people are afraid and they're afraid to come in. So we need to take them by the hand and gently guide them through this process. Part of our process it's part of our process to have a family meeting. We had one today. And we have to have it all together. So 2 siblings came and 2 were late and they said, we can get started without our other 2. And I said, no, we have to wait.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's tough. So speaking of the 2 family or the siblings, who needs this? Like, is it people who just own property? Is it people who have multiple properties? Is it people who rent?
Pretty much anybody who reaches 18 needs some sort of estate planning. Because we think of it as we have to have gobs of assets to think about doing estate planning. Because even the term estate planning is not accurate. We think of rolling hills, and so we might want to relabel it as something else.
I think of huge mansions.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Like southern plantations.
Estate. We think of something, and so that's not a good place to start.
Yeah.
And so, for example, what if you have a minor child, and our children are probably the most important, I don't want to call them things, but people in our lives.
Sure.
What if we're not here?
Oh.
Wouldn't we want to find the most suitable person to raise that child? Raise the child. That doesn't have to do with money.
Wait, so under estate planning comes the appointment of what would happen and who would raise your child in the terrible situation that you would pass away untimely?
Yes, and for younger persons who have young children, the question is if catastrophically suddenly you were not here. Because that's the question. If you were in your 90s and chronically ill, that would be a different question. But most people are young when they have young children. So the question is if catastrophically suddenly you were running across the street and kaboom, you're not here, who are you going to entrust your children to?
Wow.
It doesn't matter what happens with your money. Who is going to raise these children of yours?
Yeah,
That's
wow.
a key question. It has nothing to do with money.
That kind of blew my mind because I think I've been totally, I always just think about money, and I think about being sick, and I think about being old and doing those kind of directives.
We jump to what if I'm not here?
Yes.
We jump to what if I die? But you're very much here.
Yeah.
And so we have to bring people back to right now.
Because my kids mean more to me than any house.
do.
And so the idea of who would raise my kids if, God forbid, something happened to me. I mean, just in the worst case scenario, what happens if I pass away? What happens to my kids? Do they go, like, what happens?
There would be probably a court action.
Oh,
We don't know, because then everybody has an estate plan. Even if you don't go to an attorney and make one, you have an estate plan. Everybody in this room has an estate plan.
what does that mean?
That means the law has an estate plan for you. They've set it all up for you. You have no control over what happens. It's all left up to the courts. And so maybe there wouldn't be a suitable person in your mind who would be raising your children, and maybe you would get a tremendous amount of peace of mind by saying who you would like to be the guardian. And maybe you can build a financial disincentive for other people so that they would not want to be a guardian for your children for other reasons, like financial reasons. Like they would want to raise your children because they love your children.
Yeah.
So that's all part of taking control of your own plan.
Wait, so
not the
but you
state.
said the law has an estate plan for all of us,
Yeah.
even though I didn't get one.
Yeah, they've named the guardian for your children. They've said who is going to receive your assets. They have everything's in place if you become incapacitated or you pass away.
Wait, so if that's already named, then who is raising my kids? Like,
Yeah, that would be decided by the courts. So
Oh,
it
okay.
would be
so when
a
you're saying
train
each
wreck.
of us has an estate planning, it's not that we actually have an estate planning, it's that everything is up in the air.
It's
that
up to the courts
will
systems.
decide. And then say some people comes through and one person says, I want to raise your kids, and another person says, no, I'll take her kids. Then they would battle that out in
battle
court.
it out, and
Yeah.
that's
Sorry.
not the place for our private, confidential, personal matters. So it really comes down to a choice. Do we want to be in control of what happens if we're not here? And probably you can be here for quite some time.
Yeah.
So it's really peace of mind
Yeah.
that you can sleep better at night and live more freely and more lively because you took care of that.
Okay, I'm kind of freaked out as a mom.
Yeah, it can be scary.
Yes. So please tell me, what do I do so that I can sleep better at night?
Yeah, the good news is it can happen fast, and you can take care of this, and you can gain a tremendous amount of peace of mind.
How?
My recommendation is through referrals, find a skilled estate planning attorney.
Is it expensive? Like, can I just get it done pretty quickly?
The family that came in, 4 kids, one said, well, how come why is this taking so long?
Mm-hmm.
And it was actually moving along pretty rapidly. So we have to build the time frame for our clients. It can happen pretty quickly because you don't have to go to court. Everything happens in the lawyer's office.
Got it.
And so the best thing to do is find someone who can guide you through this process, ask the right questions, and get started.
And are people looking up a state lawyer? Is that what we're looking for when you say find somebody to guide you? Like, where do we find somebody to guide us?
The best way that I could suggest finding someone is through someone who's been through the process already.
Okay.
Ask friends, and it's like finding a good therapist. There's a lot of therapists out there, and you want to find someone who kind of speaks your language. There are clients who just want to get a document. That's okay. They're not lined up with what we feel is important. There are lawyers suited for that. If you're more interested in building relationships and preserving relationships, then you want to find someone suited to that. And it's simply a matter of scheduling that first appointment and interviewing the attorney and seeing how they approach this.
Right. We are talking about families that already have pre-existing kind of turmoil. right? And how do you even start the conversation? Because if you, like you said, it starts before the person even passes away. And if you already kind of have people who don't get along, people who are having mistrust for each other, siblings who don't speak to each other, maybe children who feel like they're not as favored as another child, like how do you start these difficult conversations?
Well, that's an action-packed question. I can offer a general process that we take people through because our goal is to minimize the risk of conflict.
Please tell me that.
So if you go in for traditionally, they'll say fill out a balance sheet. Now, what do you think of as a balance sheet?
Like my checkbook?
Yeah, your checkbook, what you own. They'll ask you that.
Okay.
And they'll stop there. And one key study studied family conflict, and they came up with 3 factors. And so we prepared a relational balance sheet.
Oh, okay.
So when people come to us, we ask the questions to find out where is the family.
Like emotionally?
Emotionally, and where are the triggers or where are the things we have to be careful of?
Okay.
And so there are 3 questions that we ask. First is, did the children, when they were growing up, would they say they were treated fairly?
Oh, that's deep.
It's deep.
Oh.
Not equally, fairly. Were they so the volleyball player didn't get swim goggles, were they taken care of fairly? First question. Second question is there a high degree of conflict among your children, or are there unresolved issues? The third question, are there significant problems? Significant problems meaning drug addiction, personality disorders, spendthrift, failure to the big problems.
Okay.
And the study said if you don't have if you check yes to each of those or it's positive, your family will be fine. So we start with seeing where the family.
If you check yes,
I'm sorry.
we have.
If we don't, I'm sorry.
Oh,
If we
okay.
check no, I'm sorry.
Like,
I was thinking which
I was
one.
not expecting
so
that.
if you check no, then your family will probably be fine.
Oh, okay.
Now, if you check yes, then we have to take a look at that.
Is there any families that exist that would check all no?
No, every family comes with something. Every single family comes with something.
Aspirational.
Yeah, there's not. Every family comes with something.
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing we do. The second thing we ask our clients to do, and we provide. So when you write a trust, it doesn't resolve conflict. It doesn't pass on meaning. It names someone to act, and it says who gets what and when. That's about what it does.
Yeah.
And so we need something to provide our clients to write down their meaning. So we call them operating manuals. We have one for healthcare. We have one for what if you pass away.
Back to the 3 questions. It's the person who's writing the will
client.
or the client who's so that perspective is coming from the parents. If you were treated fairly, if the children were treated fairly, is coming from the parents. So what if the parents are not self-aware to realize the children do not feel fairly treated?
That comes later. So this is kind of a circular process. It's not a linear thing where we move along. And so that's the first step. Second step is allow them the opportunity to write down their wishes. And then the third part of this, which is critical, is what we call the family meeting, where we just had one today.
Okay.
And these children today, the brothers were all in all brawling before we got a chance to start with them. And the daughters were not getting along.
Wait, so was the parents still alive?
The parents had passed away. And so I just know that they were physically beefing with each other during one meeting before we got involved.
So 4 siblings.
4 siblings. And so we need to take them by the hand and create this frame, this guardrail for this family, because if we don't treat this with care, they're going to go off the rails. They're already fighting. They've been fighting for their whole lives. And this is not just the 4 of them. This is a broader family with cousins who are fighting from grandparents. So so we brought them in today.
I know this family.
Yeah, there are a lot of them. There are a lot of them. We all know these families.
Yes.
And so there are things we need to get done during the family meeting. First, we want to tell them and the parents are there. What better time to tell your children what you want when you're here. What better time? We want to wait till when you're not here.
But you said the parents have passed away.
In this case.
Got it.
So, but we were here when the mom was here.
Oh.
And so she was able to express herself this wasn't the perfect situation.
So wait, so the family meeting you had today, when you said the mom was able to express herself, was she able to express herself? Was she expressing herself? Like before she passed out?
Before she passed. And so unfortunately in this case, we weren't able to, she had a little bit of dementia already. So the point is to get started early.
Yeah.
May I share a contrast with you?
Yes, please.
We had 3 situations because so much wealth is transferring hands. We're watching this thing happen day after day, 4 times a day. We're watching this happen.
The families are meeting and having conflict?
No, people are dying. People are getting incapacitated. So watching how siblings work. We had a family of 6 children.
Okay.
And the mom was 99 years old and she fell and broke her hip. She was a little dementia, but she still could speak some of her intentions, but not well. So she went to the rehab. She did really well, to the point where she could either go home or to a foster care home, a place where you'd have 3 square meals a day, socialization, they watch you, or home. The children would set up schedules, watch them. 3 of the children were appointed as agents under the power of attorney to make decisions for mom. 3 were not.
Okay.
They got along well. They used to dress up for Halloween. We would go to their house. They got along until this point. And 3 felt the only answer for mom was she should go home. 3 felt the only answer was for mom to go to a care facility. The 3 sets, it didn't matter who was appointed, and we weren't able to have the conversation with the family. We didn't. And so they use the word hate. They're not talking to each other again.
Wait, so why you said it doesn't matter who was appointed because
it's really a family matter at that point. And if they can't come to a decision together, who are they going to hire?
I see.
A litigation attorney. Litigation attorneys fight to win. That means someone's going to lose. And they only get out of the case when you run out of money. And the first
they're
thing
basically squandering their whole family over trying to be right.
And it didn't have to do with money. Yeah, they felt that the only answer was mom should go here or there. And I was trying to tell them there's another way, but we didn't get to it.
What's the way? What was the way?
So if I can contrast 2, and then I'll tell you that the second set, we didn't have a family conversation, 3 brothers. The trust said equal to the children. You get equally all of your trustees. The mom passed away. We hadn't had a chance to have a family meeting. And they sued each other. The home's worth $1.5 million. The lawyer's fees are $900,000. They haven't stepped foot in court. They're not talking to each other. Contrast that with the other set of 3 brothers who we had a family meeting with the mom. And the mom told the brothers, I don't care what happens, you boys don't fight. I was there. The mom died, and then we were sitting at the 3rd meeting after the mom died, and they were supposed to sell the home and distribute the cash. And I noticed it was a little uncomfortable. There's some electrical wiring they were trying to fix. And I said, well, how come we're not moving this along? And one brother said, well, no one cares. We can. And I saw the brothers kind of tense up. I go, and then the other 2 brothers, I said, well, maybe that's not the case. Maybe you can let your brother know what you're thinking. They said, well, we kind of need the money. And they started going at it, and they started getting heated. And then one brother said, wait, remember when we got together with mom and she said, don't fight? Oh. And they all said, yeah, that's right. 2 weeks later, the house was on the market. They sold it.
Oh, wow.
So we don't want to underemphasize that simple statement of don't fight.
Maybe I'm being jaded. I wonder if those 3 brothers had a more trusting relationship to begin with.
Possibly. So so when we do the relational balance sheet, we can test out what degree of conflict already exists. And it goes back to the question of who is the most appropriate person to serve as trustee.
I want to go back to the 3 who didn't want mom to go to the foster and who wanted her to go home. So what ended up happening? How do you, because she's a living person, so she needs to go somewhere. So how do you remedy that?
Sadly, the 3 of them took mom home. Okay. And they weren't talking for quite some time.
And why was that sadly? Was that?
Because they weren't, I kept encouraging them. One of the things we encourage in family meetings is don't fight, and the 80-100% rule. 80%, if you can get to a place where you're comfortable with a decision, 80%, then 100% commitment.
Okay.
And the understanding that differences of opinion are inevitable. There may not be a perfect answer, so there are resources available. In their case, we have the Mediation Center of the Pacific here, where there are skilled, guided professionals who can guide families through this very difficult decision-making process. It was too late. We didn't have the conversation before.
I see. So
And
there's
so
a mediation then. So that's a great resource.
So the good news is there are resources available. And when do we broach it early on in a family meeting so that we can kind of set the tone? Because this family felt there was one answer.
Right. So now you need mediation because you're at a stalemate.
Yeah, and it could be even worse than that.
Yeah. Okay, so the hour always flies by.
Yeah.
And I want to leave feeling empowered.
Yeah.
So I would love for you to share with us how, if somebody's listening right now and they're like, wow, I really need to start doing an estate planning and I'm a little intimidated. I don't even know if I have enough money for it. I don't know if this is right for me. What would be a tip on how to get started?
This is the simplest answer, is that it's a difficult thing we're staring at the sun. One existential psychiatrist said, what we're facing is our mortality.
Yeah.
Everybody comes into our office, says, I've been thinking about this for a long time. The best thing to do is start and get started and allow that professional to guide you through this, because that's kind of what we need.
So are you saying to start, does that mean to start making phone calls to reach out to people?
Yes. Ask your friends who they've met with. That's the best way to do it. What was their experience with the estate planning process? And ask them, did this person focus on money or did they focus on preserving relationships? And if that's interesting to you, then that's probably where you want to start.
Okay. So if you're out there and you're listening and you need help, start by asking your friends and family who they have used, right?
Exactly.
And then what if your grandparents, your parents, they don't have estate planning and you're nervous about how to honor their legacy? How do you start that conversation with them? Because that seems almost like overbearing and nobody wants to be told what to do.
Yeah, these difficult conversations.
Yeah.
And they're all over. We avoid conversations. And there was a book written called Difficult Conversations by the Harvard Negotiation Project. If you're interested, you might want to pick it up.
Yeah, we'll put it on our Substack.
Yeah, because if we don't have they start, it's kind of dramatic, it's kind of violent, but it's like holding a grenade with the pin out. You have to have this conversation because you either throw it or you hold on to it. Something is going to happen.
Somebody's exploding.
Yeah, something's going to explode. So you have to start with that idea. It's not going to be nuanced, or it's not going to feel good. And to come from a place of no judgment, to come from a place of care, from I really care about you. I'm very concerned about you, and I'm concerned about our family. Could I just kind of set the tone for starting that conversation? It may not work the first time. Yeah. It may be a series of conversations.
Yeah, and it's an important conversation to have, because I mean, there's so many families, specifically to Hawaii, where maybe the older generation has a home here and the rest of us have moved to the continent. And so that family home becomes our legacy back home. And if we don't know what to do with it, or we don't know how to honor it, or people are going to fight over it, that's a big change for generations to come.
That's a big one. The family. My daughter's 24 now. And a few months ago, I said, hey, Madison, let's sit down and I want to explain to you what I've done for you and your sister. No, Dad, I can't. It's too hard for me. I can't talk about it. I said, okay. And then the trip to LA, we're sitting down, and one of my daughters, we had talked about it a little bit before, so they knew it was happening. And one daughter said, hey, the home, I want to do something with it. And the other daughter had a little bit of different opinion, and I found an opening to engage in the conversation again, and we were able to have the conversation about what to do with the family home and together. And I was able to let them know, whatever you do, don't fight over this. And we were able to start the conversation. wow, what peace of mind did that bring me? Because I only have those two twins.
Yeah.
And they're so different.
I mean, that's very powerful because you are an estate lawyer and you're having a hard time having the conversation. So the rest of us should not be surprised.
There's no way around it. You want to start, and there's a way to. It's never going to be easy.
Yeah.
And there's a easier way to go about it, which I'm shifting gears to the book, but that's a really good place. To start.
And it sounds like you start early. You have multiple conversations. You don't give up, and you kind of come from a place of caring and not. I don't know, greed.
It's the biggest act of care you can do for your family it's a selfless act to prepare for a time when you're not here.
Oh,
so
thank you, Stephen.
Thank you
for having this hard conversation with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the episode, but it is just the beginning of the conversation. So please visit us on our social media platforms, subscribe, leave a comment, have a question. For this episode, we'll be posting extra materials on Substack. So if you have any extra questions, I'm going to be checking it out as well because I have lots of questions. Until next time, embrace the chaos and remember to breathe. This episode was produced by Jill Dickerson, Kimberly Rose Ka'iolani Wolter, and Christian Fanene Schmidt. Technical producer Daniel Asmelash. Editor Evan Langston. Social media manager Benjamin Pola. Music by Mary J. Madden. Promotional consideration provided by the Park Shore Waikiki Hotel. We want to thank our friends and family who support us. Mahalo for listening. Ahui ho!